Hello and welcome to the Slapshot Syndicate podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and whilst you're at it, go and follow our social media pages. They're on screen now. Now, on to the episode.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Slapshot Syndicate, and it is playoff week 1. And it's in the bag, boys. How did you find playoffs to start us off?
Nervy, mate. Nervy. Yeah, this is the time of season where honestly I could be a nervous wreck, but obviously we're in much better form this season, so coming to the weekend feeling quite positive. Obviously the group's been as close as they are. It's anyone's in it really to pick it up at going into the weekend, so yeah, exciting times. What about you?
I'm the same. When it comes to playoffs, it's whole 110% emotion, isn't it? Like, you're so that far into it and you just want to delve everything into it, but yeah, the roller coaster that is playoffs very much plays with the old mental state on an hourly and secondly basis, doesn't it? So.
Well, it certainly didn't disappoint, obviously, as we'll come into it as we go through the episode, but it's exactly what we expected of playoffs. Fast, hard hitting, and emotions up and down throughout the game. It was probably the hardest 60 minutes I've had in a long while, to be honest with you. It was not an easy watch throughout the entirety of the weekend, but it's what we look forward to when it comes to this time of year, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Very much so.
With that said then, boys, let's jump into Seahawks reaction. So let's have a look at what Seahawks did this weekend. Obviously, it was a double-header against Milton Keynes Lightning, and it was the Saturday, which was a home game. I just want to mention this first and foremost. What did you guys think to it being a home game on a Saturday? Because obviously, notoriously, we do Sundays as home games. I understand why we potentially did it. Do you think it was the right call? Would you have stuck to a Sunday?
I do, personally. I think if you've got obviously they got themselves into the position where they could choose, I think with them being top seed, I think that's how it works, isn't it? Yeah. I think if you win your first home game, the pressure's on the other team then, isn't it? So I think ultimately, we are a better home side, like we've always been a better team that plays at home. We have got a lot better away from home this season, there's no doubt about that, but I think to start your sort of playoff campaign, so to speak, at home and try and get a win there, in my opinion, would be the right idea, despite us obviously usually playing on Sundays.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest with you. I think, like you say, it's important to try and get going early doors, and also you are going to have more energy on the first game of the weekend, so playing that at home I think gives you the slight edge as well, and if you can get the points, take it to their gaff and see what they can do to you.
Yeah. The second point is attendance. I was surprised by this. For the past 5-6 weeks we've been touching 1,500 plus. First game of playoffs only 1,300, or just short of 1,400. I was a bit disappointed, maybe a bit surprised by that.
I think the fact that it was a Saturday definitely played into that as well, to be honest. And also you got to remember, these games you've got to buy them, so I'd hope that there wasn't a lot of season pass holders that missed out on the game because they're not included in your season pass, but very well could have been a factor in it. But I think mainly it's just because it was on the Saturday, and people have a lot of stuff going on the Saturday, so it's out of the normal for Seahawks. Yeah. But with that said, you wouldn't tell that there was less people in the crowd given the noise and the atmosphere in there.
Well, I was going to say I was running over to the rink. I had some prior engagements, so it was about 10 minutes before face off when I rocked up. But good energy. I think there was certainly that buzz in the crowd, and people were hyped up and looking forward to what was about to say. And I know you was definitely giddy before the lights went down and it all started up, and the whole charade beforehand. And it was cool to see though, wasn't it? Where we sort of made them wait, didn't we, a little bit, and they were sort of skating up and down. The lights show was going on, the music, and you was like, I'm bang up for this. It's what you want for a home game, innit? You'd sort of want to give them a bit of grief with the make them wait, but you want the entertainment value,
sort of man games a little bit. Yeah, gamesmanship, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, home game Saturday, we'll get straight to the result. Hull Seahawks take it 3-1.
Yeah.
But a tough game nonetheless. What did you think to it?
Well, yeah, first and foremost, the intensity was there, wasn't it, on both sides. The hits, it was quite contentious at times. I think
certainly on the line.
polite way of putting it, but But yeah, it had all the fireworks of what you expect a playoff hockey game to be. There was some fighting. Mentioned the hits being really hard. It was fast paced. The intensity was there. It was just made for great watching. I felt very, very confident coming into it. Don't get me wrong, like you when you start getting the lead up to these games, a bit of doubt always creeps in your mind, doesn't it? And you think because I think it's more desperation and anything, like we absolutely have to go and get this. We can't wait to get going. You got to come out and get going. Like,
you can't have any mistakes in your game, because at this point in the season, like,
it can be so costly.
Yeah, you can't. Those costly moments can really change games when it comes to playoff season, and it's just, you just don't know what to expect. You're almost sort of like feeling each other out a bit, and I think there maybe was a bit of that, as well as the aggression. I think it's fair to say, and I know it was brought up in Matty's interview, but it seemed like Milton Keynes wanted to be more aggressive than us and sort of wanted to maybe leave a bit in. I sort of got I know it was playoffs, but it seemed like the more of a hatred between the two teams. Like, a lot of the players didn't seem to be really getting on at all. There was a bit in it, bit there, you know what I mean? It was always a bit, after the whistle, there was a bit of jostling
all the time,
constantly, and I get that's what like playoff hockey's about, and it's meant to be faster and harder hitting, but there was just seemed to be a bit of needle in there.
Like a bit nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, boys, I think that was sort of the tale of the first period, and how MK sort of created a mountain for themselves. Because as obviously we saw it, and you'll be able to let us know about when the goals and stuff was scored, the amount of penalties, like silly penalties they gave away, and then, you know, when they come back on the ice, there was then giving the puck away because there was too focused on, you know, there wasn't focused on the hockey, there was too focused on the extras and everything else, you know. Whereas Seahawks sort of rode it and matched them, but then didn't allow them to go that extra step because they would peg them back down. But yeah, I just think, like, obviously you'll be able to take us through the goals and the way in which they were scored and the timings and stuff like that. But I genuinely believe that MK really did create a rod for their own back in the first. I think the way that they came out was completely wrong in the first game, if I'm honest.
It was, but I also have to commend how they started the first sort of minute and a half, the first shift, second shift. They was at it from, you know, they'd won the face off and was straight down Hull's end, and I remember thinking, wow, this lot fancy it. This lot really fancy it. And I think that happened in both games, more so in the second game, which we'll come to, but they certainly wanted to put the foot on the throat of Seahawks, but I think we sort of rode it quite well, to be honest with you. But they did break the deadlock quite early on, 3.5 minutes, and Dominic Gabai, you know, found a really nice bit of space. I think there was a mistake in the Seahawks defence to let him in, to be honest with you, and he sort of just dipped, looked, and banged straight past the shoulder of Heskey.
Finish, wasn't it?
It was a nice finish, really nice finish, and that sort of got MK up and running then, and they had a nice contingency with them as well in the corner. They was making some noise,
definitely.
And sort of straight away that what happens to Hull over the years is sort of when Hull go behind, it's sort of like, it goes quiet, and there was that, we didn't anticipate this.
It was almost like a head in the hand sort of moment, wasn't it? Like, no, please don't let this be the start of the end.
Especially with how MK have been playing recently. You know, like they've been on a really hot streak, haven't they?
Absolutely. But fortunately, Seahawks did react pretty quickly. This is where I was coming from. So, like, from that 1-0, they got themselves up to here straight away, and all the fans was buzzing. It just went for the remainder of the period. Sorry for the spoiler, as you were, Azza. So Seahawks did go on the power play, and it's been one thing that's been a bit up and down in the past few months. We haven't really found good consistency in the power play. It's been a bit hit or miss, but it did come in at a hit. And this was about 6 minutes in, and Johnny Corneal, somebody who we talked about, you know, ending the season really well. We can see how he's a main cog in the machine, and he comes up with a big goal and gets us tied level. Yeah,
he is that player, and he is almost, I think we're looking at him now as like the epitome of what we are and what we need in a sort of leader as well, to be honest with you as well. Obviously having Bobby there is nice, but then having Johnny who can do the same sort of stuff with the flair and stuff he's got as well, is just an added bonus for us. So yeah, it was a nice worked goal as well, like you said, but on the power play, so that puts it 1-1, and it was sort of like, okay, game back on now. It's like football, isn't it? Every time someone scores, regardless of score, 0-0, 0-0, go
reset,
back in,
reset,
go.
Yeah.
And it did feel like at that moment, didn't it? Like, okay, you've got away with one, we've got one back, let's nullify it now.
the game sort of slowed down a little bit from that point there. I thought both teams had landed a blow, and there was a bit like, oh, hang on a minute, we don't really want to play hockey anymore. It started to get more aggressive at that point. Then it was sort of like, right, now we've got a goal each. We're a bit more open, a bit more confident. Let's just sort of like give each other a bit now.
You said actually on the night, like you can't let Milton Keynes capitalise on that goal that they scored, because it'll be
disastrous.
Yeah, it'll be pivotal for them as well, because they are that team out there where they can just build off their own confidence and get better and better. So it was so important that we tried to like nullify that as early as we did. Thank God we did.
Yeah, so like I say, it started getting a bit nasty and a bit heated. There was a few near fights. I don't know if it was at this point, maybe a bit later on, but there was certainly a fight in the first period after a bit of a ding-dong.
Fight in between, it was Salisbury and Hodge won it, but I don't think Salisbury put up much of a fight, to be fair. I think it was pretty much having his take on the ice after.
Was it a reaction? It was a reaction.
There was something behind the play, and I remember it sort of come up to the end where we sort of sit, and then all I remember is just seeing gloves go off, and there was both at it, but I didn't think much of it at the time. But over the weekend, Salisbury just seems to have a bit of a gob on him, to be honest with you, so I'm glad it happened. It was a shame he sort of nosedived and didn't fancy it quite early on, to be honest.
He seems to be that kind of player where if you're looking at hockey fights a lot, his name crops up a lot, so I wonder if that's his sort of role, because you see when on the game sheets,
not with the way he performed.
I actually think Salisbury would have been bang up for a knock. I just think Hodge got in there early. Hodge instigated it. He got his gloves off and actually reacted to it.
Fair.
That's why he threw his gloves off. But whilst he was doing that, Hodge had already got the better of him. It was there. I rated it because I thought it absolutely needed to happen, and that was the moment.
I think like this comes back to, because if that had been like sort of the other way around, or Hodge had maybe let him and he'd have dropped Hodge, the place would have gone thingy. I don't really agree, and we've mentioned people throughout the season of sort of like bit of dirty fighting or just sort of rolling people on the ground to get over and done with. But I think that was a fight we had to win to sort of like get the place going.
Yeah, and Hodge is definitely the guy that's going to do that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good for that. We know he is, great player.
We saw him absolutely ruin Forsberg earlier in the season, didn't we? Centre ice where they had a good knock. So I could imagine that some of these MK players wanted to get one back on him, just unfortunately for them, not to be for this time.
Thank God. And then the second goal came about 10.5 minutes in, but a bit of peculiar circumstances this one. Short-handed goal for the Seahawks. Scored by Jason Hewitt as well.
So we'd had a few, haven't we? We'd had a few penalties by this point, I believe. But yeah, it was a bit of a mad one, this one, wasn't it? I think, who was it that went to the bench? Is the information on there? Because I'm sure it was a bit of like daft circumstances as well. But then
Emmy got called for hooking.
Yeah,
that was the penalty.
And that was the penalty.
Yeah. Fair. I thought that something that happened was that one of ours went to the box, and there was one where it was a bit of a daft call, but then we went up the other side and like got a chance. But
instigated by Lee Bonner though, this goal, I've got to say, like there was a lot of work from him that he put in right about to try and get the pull back. And, was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the backhanded finish from?
Yeah, it was. Sort of came across goal. And you sort of thought, oh, the chance has gone with him being a right-handed shooter, and he sort of just, it was almost like he dug his stick into the ice and just scooped it, and it went near side and sort of past Headley before he knew it, and you was just sort of like, oh, some finish.
It didn't even look like real powerful either, did it? It was just like such a good,
just a great flick, and it was just all the height and the trajectory of it, and it just carried in, and it was a massive moment in the game, because like you said, that was the first time we took the lead on the night, and you know, not expected, especially short-handed, and on the power play they looked pretty good. They didn't capitalise on any of the power plays, but they certainly put a lot of pressure on us when there was. So to go get a short-handed goal was massive for us, and we haven't seen many this season, if any at all.
No. And then it was quickly after this, wasn't it? The man who obviously got the penalty came out of the box. We got playing again after nullifying their power play, and Emil Svek on the score sheet again, so 2 points for Emmy this night on Saturday as well, which was a big performance from him, in my opinion. I think he struggled to get going a little bit to begin with. For
me, it sort of seemed maybe they'd put something in place to stop Emmy being able to get around as efficiently as he normally can. He usually can carry the puck into like the end zone, and I think that's probably picked up because I know it was mentioned on the commentary on the night after, but he'd scored to like 5, 6, 7 goals past Milton Keynes in the regular season, so they certainly would have had their eyes on him. Like, we cannot let him. And it certainly seemed like that, to be honest with you, because that's when, like, for me, it seemed like Matty was putting out like Kent and Brooks and those sort, and just like go rat, and tire him out so we can try and maybe get that line in. But yeah, it was great for Emmy to score another power play goal as well. I hadn't realised till we'd had a look at the stats here. Every goal we scored was either penalty kill or power play. Good or bad, I don't know what you boys think. It means we couldn't score past them when it was even. Friend, what did you make of that?
It's hard, isn't it? Because I think because there's so much on the line, there isn't this free flowing hockey going on, is there? Like we've seen the last few weeks. I think everyone's so cautious as to put a foot wrong because then you're on the break and it could be catastrophic. It could be like catastrophic. Yeah. You know, but must be something like water. But yeah, no, I genuinely think that was the case. I think it was just playing chess. You move one piece, I'll move the next. Oh, then we'll move back, and you know, that kind of thing. Just trying to mirror each other.
I'm really glad you've said this. So obviously, the period did end 3-1 in the second period, and I think that's where it became very much a chess game in that second period. Sort of like Hull didn't want to overcommit to try and, like, you know, finish the game off and seal it, because MK was starting to like niggle back, and it's sort of like there was counteracting each other a lot of the time, and you know, I know that says there that the scoring finished in the first period, but there was certainly a lot of other chances. I think both keepers was on it.
Very much so. Heskey had a really good night, but so did Headley as well, to be fair to him. I was quite surprised at the end of the game when he didn't get man of the match, if I'm being honest.
I was surprised.
I don't know if it was one of those. I know at certain times certain people can choose man of the matches. I didn't know if it was like a banter move to choose like Sean Norris. I know he had a decent game, obviously, but I would have definitely gone for Jordan Headley. Like, he was busy. I don't know how many shots there were on the night, mate, say on the stats.
Yeah, we can have a look at that. So 35 shots on Seahawks, 41 shots on Milton Keynes Lightning. So fair few shots.
But both netties was really busy. I think in this game Heskey got like 97% save percentage or something, which obviously shows that how busy he was. But he was making some like really, really good saves, wasn't he?
The thing is for me here, especially going back to like Headley, is like, do you remember when was it just after Christmas and we put like 7 by him and we was like, Headley's having a stinker here.
Yeah.
It was a very different goaltender.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
He was
Completely
composed, stopping everything going at him.
Yeah.
He took some absolute bullets as well, didn't he?
He did.
He took, like, Svek was firing some serious bullets at him, and he was wearing them.
Yeah,
there was one where it cannoned off his head. And he didn't even have time to get his hand up, it just absolutely ricocheted off his head, and he was just like, he's not getting up from that. You do not want that to the end. He just sort of like shook it off and carried on. I honestly think it was one of his better games that I've seen of Headley.
It's interesting for Headley as well, because there's so many like Seahawks fans that I saw who really like dislike him, and it probably just speaks to his ability. I know that obviously MK in general can have a bit of, you know, gamesmanship and like, come on then, or like, you know, that kind of thing about him. But every team does, don't they? And I think exactly. But I think it mainly does just speak to, you know, Headley as a keeper. Like, he's a top player, isn't he?
I'm glad you brought up Housery, because there was one guy on the night who was really sort of
trying to give it.
Yeah.
Try as a
and it was beyond Housery, because this guy is a serial offender. And this is Jordan Spadafort. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, but this time I'll say it a bit more explicitly. Dickhead. Straight up, nothing less than a dickhead.
Yeah, he certainly went out there, didn't he? Trying to had a game plan of his own, and I think that was I think he instigated it. So first and foremost, I think we need to bring up the point of him trying to go in on a kid and actually missing the kid and going straight into
his own player,
Malik Martelli, who now looks to be seriously injured from it. There were moments with Josh Crawley, you know, again some of some of our younger bits where he just seemed to be. It was off the puck most of it as well. It wasn't like
it just seems to be what he does best.
Arguing with Bobby Chamberlain, and then the players would come up and he'd sort of like cross-check the little kid. It's just come on now.
So and then one of our bigger boys offer him out, and it's like, nah, what? I can't see.
So I've got to go back to the bench. Right here.
You're lucky the referee wants me back on that bench. But listen, it came to his dismay, didn't it? Because there's two culprits in the first period for me. Salisbury was one of them, and Spadafor was the other. So Spadafor was the one who gave away, I think it was our power play, the first goal to get. He gave away. It's such a stupid. I can't remember what he got given for. It was, where is it? There you go, for hooking. But it was maybe like his second or third time of doing something stupid, and it was like third time you're in the bin, and literally a minute later it gets Hull back into the game. And then again, I think it was Salisbury got the next one, and then I think Salisbury came out the box after his fighting, picked up the puck, was looking over the rink because something else was happening, tried passing it, and our player just knocked onto it and then had a shot on goal. It's just like, I was watching it and I remember saying to one of you two, I was saying like, these are so not focused on the hockey. All they're doing is just focusing on everybody, and again, I can't remember who it was for the third goal, but I'm sure it was one of them who went to the bench. Was it Salisbury again? There you go, cross-checking, and then we get another goal. So that first period, Salisbury was in the box 2, maybe 3 times, and Spadafor was as well. When they're meant to be your first or second line of defence, like I'd be ripping my hair out if I was their manager.
It's not the first time we've said this about Spadafor. I know, like he has got a bit of a mixed reputation, even amongst MK fans, because some MK fans live and die by him. They love his gamesmanship and the housery, but some of them, they do seem as a bit of a liability because of the way he is. You know,
I actually would, a bit of a bold statement, but Spadafor for me was the main reason that MK couldn't get back into this game, because he gave away these goals, and it was the first thing of like trying to put in a silly hit that he didn't need to put in and injuring one of his own players, arguably their best defenseman as well. I might add.
Get well so Malik, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like a sore one, didn't it, as well, and no one wants to see that. So fair play to Malik and the people on the night as well who looked after him. They've handled it really well, but never nice to see. But he didn't need to do that. He's injured one of his own players, then he's gone in the box and we've scored, and then he sort of dragged the rest of his players into what he's doing, because he becomes a pantomime villain around the ring. People are shouting at him and stuff, and all of a sudden it creates a different atmosphere in the game where it's not about the hockey, it's about him being a tit.
You wonder if he's being labelled like this, like, right, you're our goon, you just go out there and just like whack people, try and rile them up, don't worry about the penalty minutes, and he's just sort of reveling, being like,
do you want that as an import?
I can do that. I would not afford that as one of my imports, definitely.
Because I know I would.
Well, I
would not want that.
Alright, I would do if you was a Jake Bolton and you could back it up, but not if you're not going to go and have a
Bricknell. Jake Bricknell can throw it around as good as anybody.
So he's going to put 100 points up as well.
Johnny Ansis for Solway. We've seen he can throw hands. If you're going to do it, you need to be able to back it up.
The thing you don't want is one of your imports, so arguably needs to be one of your best players to be in the net at the time. And if you're in the net, not in the net, in the box, sorry. And if you're looking at MK's stats and stuff like that, they don't lie, and you look at what their imports have done this season, and they've been very underwhelming. It's a good job that they've had the good Brits and the Brits that have put the amount of points up that they have. Maybe not Gabai, obviously Gabai is an exception there, but when you're relying on your imports so much, for me, like, I know that there's been plenty of MK fans who've messaged us and said, I want a complete rehaul next summer, I'd keep Gabai, but everybody else can go. Like, when you're saying that, it's a bit like, ooh.
My view on it is, like, if you're going to go out with that role, you're either nails and you can back it up, so you're getting another player in the box. If you're doing that, like what he's doing, or you're winding them up and getting people in the box, but he's not. He's winding people up and getting himself in the box because he's doing it all wrong.
The thing with Bolton did it in a way where, like, he'd smash people, but because he was big, it wasn't a foul. And then that then coaxed people into having to fight him, and he'd just bang him. And it got to the end where it was like, I don't really want to go in on him. So he had this aura of like skating up and down the rink, because he knew that no one was going to touch him.
But he was the great white for the Sharks.
He just belt their heads in, exactly.
Marauded round.
100%. Yeah. 100%. But Spadafor ain't that, unfortunately. That's just the way it is.
And it sort of brings us back round to, we said about how in playoff hockey you can't afford to have these mistakes, because that's where you lose games, and you can't really afford to throw away games in the playoffs. You know, you've only got 6, and you've got to make the most of it. And we know how tight these groups will be. A point, goal difference could certainly impact it. So, bit of a weird one for him to take there, if I'm honest. But I just want to finish up Saturday, then, boys. Maybe just a one-liner. How did you feel after Saturday, knowing that we won 3-1 and going into the next night in MK?
Happy and confident.
Optimistic, because that was 2.
I said a one-liner, to be fair, but
one line, not one word. You've done that.
Yeah, I know.
Happy and confident.
I was very optimistic going into Sunday's game, to be honest with you. After that,
yeah, I would agree. Also, I was happy, thinking 4 points here could be massive for us, and I think that was shared even up to Matty Davis as well. He was pretty happy with what he saw. Largely saw MK maybe playing a bit of a game.
Yeah.
And we went into Sunday, the away game at MK, and a very, very different story. Yeah. So the 3 of us did buy the stream to watch this game, just so we can mention that for any opinions that are about to follow.
Yeah. It's not guesswork.
MK 6, Hull Seahawks 1.
Yeah,
a very different night.
Very different, exactly that, mate. I just wanted to point out, what we did to MK the night before, I would say they did to us Sunday, but better.
I'm glad you elaborated on that, because I was about to jump on you there and just say, what? I think there was a massive contrast in both how we played first night to second night, and both how MK played night to night as well.
They got 3 power play goals on this night. They didn't get 1 on Saturday. They had 4, I think.
MK showed me on the thing that I finished the game with was on Saturday night. With no disrespect to MK, I thought in my head, how have they just gone on a massive 8-game streak and this, that, the other? If they're going to be doing that, this was the MK team that I watched this game, and I watched this MK team. I don't care what anybody says. I watched it and thought, I get it. Because there was that team was completely. There was the Saturday was a shadow of this team, wasn't it? There was 110% better, and it really, really did show. Matty said in his interview that he's gonna have to tweak the way we play. We can't go to MK and play the way we do at home. But I don't know. I don't know if MK feel the same way, and they had to try and be overtly aggressive on the Saturday because they know how to play on Sunday, but. Wow, yeah, MK was a different kettle of fish.
So MK did come flying out the blocks again, very much the same vein as they did at the Hull Ice Arena, and Heiskanen was worked from minute 1.
He was
really worked. I think he had to make 3 or 4 absolute weldy saves before they'd scored their first goal, which came about 8 minutes in. But before that, they could have had 2 or 3 at this point, and it was, you could see instantly. I think at one point, because they had a shot counter on the scoreline, didn't they?
It was 8-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're going to say. I noticed that, and I was a bit
got to 10.
Did it get to 10?
It got to 10-1, and as we'll come into it, that's when Seahawks had scored, and it was 10-1. You was just like, this is not good. We did not look good at all. But they seemed to be faster. They didn't seem as aggressive, if I'm honest. They just sit.
For me, I wouldn't say that was the game they adopted at all. I think what it was is they probably saw, that didn't work last night, so we need to go.
There was a lot more skill.
Yeah, there was.
And playing the right
puck,
way.
That's it. It was like we didn't get hold of the puck in the first period.
There was passing so well.
Oh, really?
So well.
First 10 minutes of that game was just us literally chasing shadows.
Getting behind the puck and trying to defend.
It also felt like the neutral zone, they just controlled very, very well. In fact, it probably wasn't until sometime in the second period where we started to get more control.
It was almost like there was a weight at our end and the ice was tilted. It just seemed very easy for the puck to come down this end and a slog to get uphill. If you were to think of it like that, it was tough. But as I did mention, MK did take the lead, 7:44 in, Sean Norris unassisted, and I thought they deserved it, if I'm completely honest. I thought it was a matter of time the way they was going, and it did come.
It's a fair comment. It is very fair, and I agree 100%. Based off the start, no Hull fan could watch that and think, well, MK didn't deserve it. They definitely deserved it. They came out a lot sharper than us, a lot more, on the front foot, and they did deserve the lead.
So they did take the lead, and then it's maybe just sort of lit a little spark underneath Seahawks, because then we started to maybe get the puck a little more, and we started to get around their cage and maybe make some move. And it did work for us in the end. So Jordan Stallard
This was a really nice goal as well.
It was 10 minutes 15 in, and it was one that Headley wants back most certainly, but it was massive for us on the night. It sort of just got through him, sort of trickled over the line, and the MK defender tried to get it away before the officials could see it, but it did cross the line.
It did.
1-1, and sort of give us a bit of confidence after the poor start.
Not going to lie, from that point I thought, well, this is a platform for us to jump up again, and I thought, this is what we've done like for the last 2 or 3 months.
Weathered a bit of a storm.
We weathered a bit of a storm, exactly that, and when we get our goal, that's when we then go, right, we're going to jump on you now. And it didn't tend to work out that way.
No, it didn't.
No, it was short-lived. Again, just penalties won it. Again, sort of seemed to be a factor in the game. So
Yanni Jokinen, 13 minutes power play goal. Was this the goal where there was a bit of controversy around it, or so there was, wasn't there? So
yes, there was.
It came sort of on the back of the Seahawks net, and a Seahawks player and an MK player sort of like clipped the goal, but it was just at the same time the shot was taken, I believe, and the goal sort of buckled, and they're saying the goal had come off, and it sort of went by Heskey that way. Not for me, in my opinion.
I feel like by them going behind the goal, they've loosened the net off its moorings, and Heskey's pushed off the post, which most nets do anyway. He's pushed off the post, but because it was already coming up, it's knocked it off.
If I'm being completely honest, I think it's probably fair considering the goal that they got chopped off the night before, when that was like 3-1, and like it was in the third period, and it was like, I think our commentary was sort of like, oh, that's a bad call for it not to be a goal. So
I did watch that 3 or 4 times, to be fair, and it took me a little while to realise what had actually happened in that goal, so I was like,
it was because the referee had blown his whistle before the shot was taken, and it was literally marginal. And fair play to the refs, is like, I'm sorry, but I've called it. Like, there was nothing wrong with the goal. Like, it was just the time.
So this is probably like a bit of karma coming round to us, but I didn't see much wrong with the goal, to be honest. I think Heskey, like those Eastern European sort of like, maybe not Eastern European, but obviously Heskey finish and all that kind of area, those netminders do like to push off the post. Like to have that little bit of extra about them and things like that, but it's just obviously not gone to our favour in that sort of.
So the first period did end 2-1, but not without a massive showering of shots on Seahawks. I ain't gonna lie, at 2-1 I was happy to take 2-1 at the end of that first period. I remember we was all talking to each other in between the breaks, and I said, this could be 4-5 already, to be honest with you.
The first it could have been.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy watch at all.
You just hoped, didn't you, as a Seahawks fan, that was the storm weathered. And now we
it was a good time, wasn't it, for us to sort of get a break and recharge.
Get the talking to, sort your game plan out, come out and restart.
Everyone just chill out now, let's have a bit of time,
So second period began very much as the first one ended. Seahawks were in a bit of a storm, and we still struggled to create much of anything on goal, to be honest with you. Nothing really where I thought, oh, that should have been a goal. 28 and a half minutes, another power play, Patrick Forsberg, and I'm sure this one was an absolute laser, wasn't it?
It was a rip-off from the
flew in. And that was 3-1. Thoughts at this point, boys? 3-1 down, what were you thinking?
Mountain.
Yeah, I was thinking we're playing for overtime, to be honest, that overtime point.
The thing is, at 3-1, like the next goal after that was
34 seconds later.
So at 3-1, I thought, that's, you only need a goal in this, but then
short-lived, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. For that 30 seconds that I was sat home on the couch watching, I was like, no, the boys can do it. It's all right. We only need one goal. What happened last time? But
so it was actually looking at it was 32 seconds between goal 3 and goal 4. Was this the one with Hewitt maybe thinking there was an offside involved? It sort of broke down, and they just sort of stole the puck and in on goal, buying 4-1.
Elliot Lewis.
At this point, I thought this is game over. This.
I agree.
At this point, I maybe expected us to get a bit dirty. I think maybe is the word, aggressive. Maybe just
try and bring them down.
We needed to find a different way to create chances, because what we went in with wasn't working, and I felt like it just ended up being much of the same. Like, we were just hoping that at some point it was going to break them down, and it weren't working. So I think the game plan needed to change, and maybe that was the way to go. Obviously, we don't want to get players banned and stuff like that, but I think it needed a little bit of fire.
The commentary on the night said needle, and I think that was the word. You needed a bit of that from us then, and I think Matty said it as well when he was just like, if MK want to play that aggressive game, we can play it. And I think that was the moment to just go, lads, I need some of you to be a bit arty.
And I think there was that, and there was also the fact that there was playing like in your head and stuff like that on the radio, on the telecoms to sort of like wind the players up and stuff. The fans were really getting onto the Seahawks players, weren't they?
Yeah.
So actually, the MK players didn't actually have to do that, and there was probably riding the power plays and riding the fouls because of all the other.
Much the same as how we did with the MK players on the Saturday night. Certainly in our block, we was giving it to the likes of Salisbury and Norris, who was obviously sat just in front of us in the penalty box. I know Spadafor got some from a section of fans as well, and the security had to pull the curtain across to sort of split the MK players up from the Hull fans. So I think certainly on the Saturday night the Hull fans played their part and certainly got that.
Kudos to the MK fans because they did exactly the same, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely massive. So 4-1 down, end of the second period. I honestly at this point I thought it was game over. We didn't look like getting anything. That's not being negative. Just watching the game, I didn't see where a goal was coming from, to be honest with you. The top line seemed to be struggling to generate anything.
They were still trying to shut that line down as well, weren't they?
Yeah, we sent obviously like to Kent. Hartman eventually started to get some minutes because he didn't seem to be playing much to start with, and they just seemed to be chasing shadows as well, and we looked lost. And the commentary said it themselves, like you could see the edge was going of the Seahawks players, and they're sort of like, I just can't. What am I doing?
Can we just talk about before we obviously sort of wrap up the end of it? I can't remember when it was, but did you see the save by Heskey when he made the mistake?
Yeah,
he knocked it round then and he jumped in front of his net.
That just speaks to how the game went, because MK didn't really take the foot off the gas, did they? There was a moment there, where Heskey sort of picked it up out of his crease, didn't he, and sort of tried to.
He just backhanded it down the boards and sort of.
I think it was towards his player, but his player just completely didn't even see it on
straight to an MK player.
There. And he sort of ran across and Superman dived and he got his hand to it, didn't he? And
he did.
Kudos to the MK commentators who were saying like that's a great save and stuff like that. But I think it just shows like sort of where the Seahawks were at. Shouldn't have been in that position. Seahawks were so deflated, weren't they?
Just should not be having to make that save because that play should never have happened. No. Well, that's the way the night went for us, unfortunately.
Felt a bit for Heskey, considering how well he's played for the last. I don't think he had a poor night, if I'm honest with you.
He didn't.
You can't say he played poorly. Like,
no disrespect, but you could have put a lot of other goalkeepers in the league in that net that night.
And it'd have been
double figures.
100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt. He was class all weekend, but MK on the night was top tier.
It was top tier. We've got to give him the credit. Absolutely, yeah.
You've got to hold your hands up and say we was out-battled.
I think it spoke volumes as well, because the shot count, watching it, we took our shot count up by about 10 within the last couple of minutes of the game, and that was purely out of desperation.
We doubled our shot type,
it was purely out of just trying to get shots off. But
going into the third period, another power play goal, 43.5 minutes, and Callum Field with this one, and they sort of made a big fuss out of it because Field isn't known for his goals or anything like that, but it was a really nice goal, well taken, and it just sort of seemed to be again another point of the night where you just think, well, anybody can step up at the minute against the Seahawks team and get something.
Did they say that he'd matched his amount of goals for the season in the last 6 games or something? So just shows you how confident the team is in general, doesn't it? So really good.
And then only about another 2 minutes after that, the man that started the goal scoring finished it.
He was the man of the evening for me as well, to be fair. Like, I know Headley had another great game, but Sean Norris did play really well. I know I said about him being a banter pick the night before, but I thought he played really well, Sean Norris, to be fair.
He did. Like as I said, it opens it and then finishes it. So I think that was
dangerous all the way through there. Like, he's one of those players where you need to keep an eye on him, isn't he? And I thought it was really good value for his.
I think the closest comparison to him is probably Mac Howlett. And I know the MK commentary was making a big fuss out of Mac Howlett, and this may come across as a bit controversial and a bit thingy, but I just don't think Mac Howlett has that scoring ability. He's just all pace for me. He's like one of those players on a Sunday morning where you knock a ball over the top and he'll run and you think, shit, he's getting there. But then that's all he's got. And I think I'll hold my hand up and say it, he has got a good points return. They was making a big song and dance at him, but when I've seen him, it's not the Mac Howlett that played for Leeds, and it shows because Leeds would have kept him if he was all that.
That's true. I guess that's true. And again, I think maybe next season when he's under Pete Russell, we'll see that return to form, won't we? But yeah, it's interesting. That's an interesting point you say that. Like at the moment, maybe not, but does that speak more to MK being a bit more well-rounded because they are sharing? Like look at this game here, the sharing points, and they're at Bristol who are relying on Dunbar and Bricknell, are they? So it's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, obviously Howlett, I don't even know it, but did he get many points on the night at all? But
on the night he got one. He was part of an assist.
I think it was mainly the Sean Norris show, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
I can see him being on line with Cowney, Howlett and Norris being a decent line, to be fair.
And the last person I think it's worth noting is Spadafor. Obviously, I'm not a fan. I've made that quite clear and obvious as we talked about the first game, but he didn't have to put any of the housery on show because nobody got near him.
You know what, with Spadafor, I'll give him his due as well. Like, there's this thing about me not being a fan of Spadafor, notorious. People messaged us this week about the punishment and stuff, so I've heard. And yeah, like, me not being a big fan of him, but I genuinely think, like, if he played like he'd done Sunday night every game, we won't be having these conversations about him because he was really solid, actually, wasn't he? He played a solid game, didn't have to get involved with the nonsense. Still did do a couple where like he's like hit Emmy Smeck centre ice when he's not even on the puck, but
that's more for that's clean and it was more
it was clean. It was clean. It was sort of like I'm here now, and no one responded to him, which I think just made him go, all right, I know what I'm doing all game. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him, but yeah, I think he did play really, really well. That's my 50 pence on Spadafor anyway for Sunday.
That's fair. I, on the other hand, will say I still don't like him. I have no issues with that whatsoever. To be honest with you, Brad, weigh in.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I didn't say I loved him, but I just said he played well.
It's just the fact that a lot of people watching seem to think that you're the biggest hater when I would like to take up the presidency of said group of the Jordan Spadafor We Do Not Like You group.
I'm a neutral, guys. I'm just all about stats.
So that sort of wrapped up the night then. 6-1 loss. Again, one-liner to sort of wrap up this game.
Underwhelming.
Very well deserved for both teams, if I'm honest.
Lethargic, looked tired, didn't look up to be playing playoff hockey. Not aggressive enough for me for Seahawks. I don't know what it just didn't look like they wanted to turn up and get the 4 points, which would have put them in such a good position.
It was a tale of two nights, wasn't it? It was just a tale of two teams flipping the roles on each night. I think that's what it was.
It's funny you say that because the guy who was doing the commentary on the night he said like, I don't like it when they do these double headers.
Yeah, I know.
And I was a bit like,
because stuff boils over. The season.
The fact that it boils over is what makes it, especially as a spectator. You want to have a bit of something.
I'd like to play him a week later. It's like, nah, like don't think so. Nah, I'd prefer, get it all the way. Like, not get it all the way, but like that's the whole.
Arguably, we stuck fire in their belly to go and get that win. It could have been a different story on their side if they'd have let a week pass.
Yeah.
And realistically thinking, like 3-1 against Seahawks is quite a respectable scoreline for Saturday night, isn't it? So maybe
when you see what happened,
I was so confident on Saturday. I was like, I can't wait for this. Looking for tickets, like, I'm going to go down to MK. Didn't get down to MK, obviously, but
thank God.
Yeah, rough. But MK probably thought, you know what, it's 2 goals, boys. We can like if they'd looked at our group, they'd have probably afforded a loss against us away. We need to beat them at home though, they've done it, haven't they?
I was going to say, I predicted a win for both teams this weekend. I think the only thing that's let me down is the fact that the nature of the loss for Seahawks this weekend. I think that is my underlining.
It was unexpected, definitely.
Analysis of the weekend is one great performance, one that was, I think it was you messaged in our little group and says, of the 2 ties, realistically they've been the better team of the 2 because of the way they've scored.
If you was to put it on aggregate,
if you go away and have look at both the away performances, they both won at home, but look at both the away performances, arguably you could say MK was the better team.
Yeah, because goal difference very well could come into play in this stuff.
Head to head and all that.
Exactly. So
the only thing to finish up with then, fellas, confident, how are you feeling about next week? Leeds?
New week, they'll be back on the ice, they'll obviously like doing a lot of video and going through things and things like that. I don't think it's a normality for us to repeatedly lose games anymore, so I can't say that I'm not confident about going into the weekend. Obviously we like playing up to Leeds and Leeds like playing up to us. The only thing with Leeds is, obviously without ruining our next segment, is they're looking pretty good too, and they've got a set and somebody coming back next week, which I think will be gagging for it.
Yeah, for me, I am quietly confident. I know what we can do. I'd say this is more of a blip rather than, what we can expect to see going forward. But I would say that it has just made a little bit of reasonable doubt creep into my mind, and it's just put a little bit more pressure on us now to go and do the job. I don't know if that'll be a good thing or a bad thing, when in actuality we was probably the team that most people was banking on sort of sealing the deal early on. And I think this could now start coming into deep waters.
Yeah, I agree with you both. I am a little bit disappointed, but there's still an opportunity. There's still a lot of games to play.
Yeah,
not a lot. We've only just started our playoff. If that's the worst it's going to get, and now we can iron it out, it can only get good for the last 4 games.
In hockey terms, we're at the first intermission, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, would you rather this game 5, and we're sort of like, you can see all the groups forming, and it's like, you cannot afford to slip, and then you have a stinker like that, and you're like, oh, we are in the waters.
True.
Yeah.
Would you rather just get your bad game out of the way now, sort of reset, and just be like, lads, that can't happen again.
In a matchup where you would take half the points, really, wouldn't you? So we'll see.
Win some, you lose some. I think that's the fair one. It's going to get better going into next week.
For sure.
That wraps up Seahawks reaction this week. So now we're going to have a look how everybody else fared in week 1 of the playoffs, and it started us off on Friday the 27th of March. Sheffield Steel Dogs hosting the Peterborough Phantoms. We was a bit up in the air, maybe mixed opinion on this one. Sheffield took this one 3-1.
Yeah, protect your home ice. We all said protect your home ice is the way to go in terms of playoff.
From me.
Well, no, we all agreed that protecting your home ice is important, so there was no scratch on you there, but I think it was a tale of the best defence versus the best attack, wasn't it? And obviously look what's happened there. That was a little quote taken by Brendan Sellen, that, because obviously we did our Slapshot versus first series, because I'm trying to redeem myself out of after that crash and bend. But he said, obviously, him, in his personal opinion, after playing against these guys, he said Sheffield have the best defence in the league. And then he said Peterborough the best attack. So he said, it's what do you choose, defence or attack? And obviously defence has worked out for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, so really, really close game.
Yeah,
3-1.
Another respectable one for Peterborough though.
Yeah,
would have been 2 goal margin kind of thing.
Bit of housery from Sheffield making it a Friday night. We said about this, didn't we?
Top seed chooses.
If you got the seed in, then you pick, don't you?
Although if they've chosen it for this weekend, we'll come into it. Might be a different story with it being Good Friday.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Might get 600 fans this week instead of 5. Good evening, Sheffield fans.
Well, let's move on very swiftly.
Sorry.
Saturday 28th of March, Hull Seahawks hosting Milton Keynes Lightning. Hull Seahawks taking this one 3-1, as we noted. Biggest surprise potentially of Saturday, Swindon Wildcats, Romford Raiders. Swindon taking this one 4-3 in overtime.
In tricky fashion as well. I know there was a couple of Raiders fans who felt a bit hard done here. They got a power play right before the end of the game, Swindon, on Jarrett Baker, and there was a couple of fans who were saying that they didn't think it was worth the penalty, basically. So Swindon started overtime with 4 players rather than 3, and basically just pounced on them. The 7 seconds it took. Sign of a good team though, get that advantage, get it done. But it's a shame.
Bit of luck, really, innit?
It's a shame for the Raiders. We all said that, didn't we, boys? If Raiders could go and get a point on the road to Swindon, it's a hard place to go on the Sunday night, isn't it? So I don't think there's any shame in that whatsoever, especially with Swindon being top seed in league champs, that kind of thing. Like,
you're doing well there. Romford obviously picking up a point, that's good, but also putting the other teams in that group on note, and the rest of them must be thinking like, oh, hang on,
what's going on there? Yeah.
They are here just to make the numbers up.
For sure.
They're here to have a go.
Definitely.
And the final game on the Saturday, Leeds Knights hosting the Telford Tigers. Leeds taking this one 3-2.
Yeah, close game, mate. Honestly, I think this is a bit of a tricky one to call, because we talked about what Telford can do. They can bang goals in, can't they? But also Leeds seem to be coming into a little bit of form. And obviously a factor in this was, you mentioned earlier, they were missing Kieran Brown in this game. So you'd have thought, like, from a Telford perspective, that would have looked like an advantage in there. in their eyes. But yeah, Leeds obviously getting the win there would have been massive for them. I'm sure their home crowd appreciated it.
So we moved into Sunday and the sort of reverse fixtures from the Friday, Saturday. And the first one, Romford Raiders hosting the Swindon Wildcats. Swindon making a little bit more of an easier inroad on this one. 5-2 victors and picking up 4 points on the first weekend.
Don't think this is what Raiders will have expected, basically, personally. I think they'll have expected to sort of own their home ice sort of thing, but fair play to Swindon for going away and doing that, because it's a tough old place to go, the Sapphire, and they've put up a really good performance.
I think they needed it as well, to be honest with you. I think that just settles the team down, the fan base down, and just like, I know we had a bit of a scare on the Saturday, folks, but let's just return back.
Down.
Yeah, I think you've got to, as we've said, like, a lot can be said about some of the results from, these playoff games early on. It can sort of set people up to think, oh, they're a weak link, or a lot can be said in what is done by how you play. So
sure.
Yeah. MK Lightning hosting the Hull Seahawks. Milton Keynes taking that one 6-1, as we mentioned. The Peterborough Phantoms hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs. The Steel Dogs taking this one 7-4, despite a Cam Huff hat-trick.
Can I just give you a little inkling as well? I don't want to keep going on about it, but in the Slapshot Versus series, Brendan Sellon predicted Sheffield to beat Peterborough 7-3.
Wow.
And I was like, come on. And he was like, well, we'll see. When it was 7-4, I was like, whew, that kind of thing. But how would he predict that? Especially with Peterborough at home. I was solid on Peterborough, mate. I think we all agreed on that, didn't we, lads, last week? We thought Peterborough was going to do that, but 7 on the road for Sheffield, that's a statement.
I said both teams was going to take the other one's bad.
Fair play. Well, there you go, mate. But Sheffield, 7 on the road for Sheffield. Talk about that, boys.
So it's also worth noting as well that Sheffield was another team that have picked up 4 points in their opening weekend, much like Swindon Wildcats, and we'll come into the standings now, it looks, in the next little minute or two. And the final game, Telford Tigers hosting the Leeds Knights, and this one 4-3 overtime for the Telford Tigers.
Yeah, now we had eyes on this, didn't we? Well, on the website, seeing that it had gone into overtime, because this obviously impacts our group as well. And yeah, I think we was all pretty glad that Telford managed to get that.
5 seconds left of the game in overtime to seal this one. I saw the video of the goal as well. It's a nice little finish.
CD can feel the part about Danny Rose having a nosebleed. That was cool.
That's like having an Alex Ross up top and you come out of nowhere to level.
I would have scored there. They missed it.
Falling over.
But in all seriousness, though, big 2 points for Telford. That to be able to finish the first weekend with everybody pretty much there, like, keeps them in the hat, doesn't it? So big win that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Telford, much like Romford, we said they're not just going to be there to make up the numbers. They're going to take part and be disruptors. And fair play to both of them. Opening weekend, they've made a good spot of themselves. Yeah, really like that. So let's have a look then at how the groups look and the standings. I'll let you run with this, Bradders.
Yeah, okay. So as it looks at the moment, then we've got Group A, Sheffield Steel Dogs in first, two played 4 points. Swindon Wildcats in second, 2 played 4 points. Romford Raiders in third, 2 played 1 point. And Peterborough Phantoms in fourth, 2 played 0 points. So just as a group by group observation, what are your thoughts there?
Very surprised to see Peterborough down there bottom. I know it's early days yet, there's still 4 games to play. I know you've got a point that you want to bring up as well about how you're seeing this, but not good reading for Peterborough, if I'm honest. I think that's a bit worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said to you guys earlier, I think it's that Peterborough have got some tough fixtures, and had they have got a couple of points from these fixtures, it would have been massive for them, because obviously they've now got to go this weekend and make sure they realistically put points on the board or take all points to even be in with a chance. I also wanted to make a point, like, had the fixtures been slightly different and they have had the double header against Sheffield and then gone and had the double header against Swindon in the week coming up, this could have been it very well could have been the end of Peterborough Phantoms and the playoffs. I think
already they are looking for Sheffield and Swindon to beat each other. And that just keeps it in touching distance.
Personally, they can't afford to lose another game.
No. Agreed.
With Peterborough and Sheffield in your team, and they've both got 4 games left, if you lose another game, there's not a chance that either of those teams finish on less than 6 points for me.
Yeah.
So even if they both just win both the home games now, that's 8 points.
They've got to get a double against Swindon.
They've got to beat Swindon twice, and they've got to beat Raiders twice as well.
Yeah, that is a tough place to be.
That's really hard to do that as well.
We said it before on that you at least need to win all your home games and try and sneak an away win, and that is how you qualify.
Yeah.
And they've already lost the first home game, and it's going to be detrimental.
I wonder how Peterborough are feeling in the camp right now. Do you think there's panic stations going on?
I don't know if Peterborough thrive off this sort of environment though as well. Like we've seen it, haven't we, multiple times in the past.
It's great being up for it though, but realistically speaking, like knowing you've got a double header coming up against Swindon, and you've got to also play Romford, who are a banana peel, are they?
I think it's weird because we'll come into it when we look at the other group. The fact that everybody in the other group has lost a game but are still massively in it, and in this group you've lost
dead and buried.
You've lost games and you just jump
digging the grave.
Literally.
How wild is that?
So it almost feels like really really tough on Peterborough, doesn't it? Like they could be not within a shout just off the first 2 fixtures, which is a bit gutting considering who they've played. Like they've played the cup winners in Sheffield, and
I can't not laugh at the fact that they've lost 2 games. It's just like, right, next season.
You know what though, boys? It really does show how important the seasons are at the end of the season, because realistically speaking, if Peterborough had maybe nicked Leeds' double header, they might have had a lot more luck. No offence against Telford, mightn't they? And they might have been in a completely different position.
At this point now, if they do the double against Swindon, which were there last weekend, they deserve to go.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
They will obviously know going into that last weekend what they've got to do.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
For sure.
Yeah. But obviously they've got to do a job against Romford. As we have seen on the Saturday,
no pushover.
Gave a game to Swindon. And it can't be a case of going to overtime and losing. They have to win. Yeah. They have to take all points from Romford to even know where they're going to be.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is the next weekend.
Group A might be the one to watch this weekend, personally, from my perspective.
Desperation hockey might come in for Peterborough.
Yeah.
They have to. Well, they might even have to put some goals in here because, like you said, the best they can do, in my opinion, is match potentially Swindon or Sheffield score.
Just outscore people.
They've just got to lever goals for fun. Yeah. It's going to be a serious weekend for Peterborough. I don't know, maybe we're being a bit dramatic, but yeah, it's not good reading at the minute.
No. Well, let's have a look at Group B then. So, in first position currently, Leeds Knights, 2 played and 3 points. Milton Keynes Lightning in second, 2 played, 2 points. Hull Seahawks in third, 2 played, 2 points. And Telford Tigers in fourth, 2 played, 2 points. So, like you mentioned earlier, it's still very much everybody in the fight.
It's cagey. Really cagey.
And currently, just looking at this, goal difference could very well be a factor in this group.
Yes, it could. And how detrimental is that 6-1 loss going to be to Hull Seahawks is what, obviously, as Seahawks fans, is what we're eyeing up now, is how much is that going to hinder us?
Well, hopefully, from my perspective, we've got scoring power and ability in us, so we very well could make good on that from this point forward. And if anything, maybe it's just the kick we need to go on and do it. Who knows? However, if you're Leeds Knights now, you're currently looking at it thinking, okay,
I'm in the driver's seat.
And
I feel like that's the kind of position that Leeds like to be in, and that's what they're actually kind of used to being in. Last couple of years, they have very much been in the driver's seat the whole time. So that core of players who know how to do that will be so important to them experience-wise, as to for the remainder of the playoff campaign.
I want to tip my hat as well to Leeds, because I said about they won't make the final 4, but they put themselves in a really good position to start that. I know it's still close in the group, but to just have that extra point over everybody else could be massive.
It could.
It really could be, and fair play to them, because I know they've had a bit of a tough time, and they're trying to pull on every resource they've got at the minute. No KB, as we said. He's going to be back for the Hull fixtures this weekend, which good or bad, I don't know. But I don't know.
We'll see. But it's going to be a very interesting one to watch this, because Telford have got some good points this in these couple of games they've played, and I think to be in it after playing, they'll look at this table and go, "Oh, we're still in it," even though like they would have wanted more from their weekend. It's not too detrimental to them.
A 4-point weekend in this coming weekend is massive for any of those teams right now. I don't think any team wants to be in this position where it's level 8 point going into the last weekend.
You want it to be done and dusted, don't you, by like the first game of this weekend coming a weekend.
You just want to be that team on top by 8 point, 2 points. At the minute, you want 4 points for yourself, and you think, I just want the other two to win a game each. You do not want anybody else to pick up maximum points, because all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
Yeah, what you don't want to be doing is doing what you can do and then checking your phone to being like, what's other teams doing to see if we're going to go through.
If you're winning, then
you've got to be in the driving seat.
That's the main point.
That group is waiting for somebody to take charge of it now.
Yeah,
because I can tell you now, none of those teams want to go into that last weekend and the table still looks something like that.
It makes me wonder who's going to be that team out of us and Leeds or MK and Telford. For me,
I'm making myself nervous in a minute. Like, could you imagine going into that last weekend and it could still go to any of the 4 teams? Like you say, period by period, you'd be like, oh, they've taken the lead there. But they've now.
I could see this weekend going exactly how it has this weekend, though, boys. Everybody I could see every team has won a game this weekend, haven't they? You can do it again. If MK go to Telford and act like they did on Saturday night, Telford would run all over them.
So if you are going to lose, is an overtime loss the absolute minimum?
It has to be, doesn't it? You need to add a point in every game that you're playing, don't you?
Does that mean that you play safe?
If it's like last couple of minutes it's drawing, 1,000% I would personally. I'd back us in overtime as well, if I'm honest.
I made myself real I didn't think about the long game.
That is the snowball of it, boys. Realistically, you need 8 points to be in there, and you need to be taking at least something from every game, if possible.
I am excited as well. I'm glad I'm not at work this week. I'll tell you what, come Friday night, I will not be sleeping. I tell you.
Be checking in bed.
When it comes back to hockey again next weekend, I tell you what, it's going to be an absolute madness. It really is. I mean, it'd be great to be at any of those games, watching the full weekends, because I guarantee you're in for some good hockey between all them teams playing.
It's going to kick off.
Well, we'll leave it there then, boys, before I start having some sort of like breakdown, overthink. I've upset myself with that one. And we'll move into our next segment, which will be our team of the season. So as mentioned in our previous segment, we will no longer be having a team of the week for the rest of the campaign, but instead we are going to do our team of the season. This went down quite well last year, didn't it? And I know we've already had some feedback that we've already posted on our socials, so a big thank you to everybody that got involved in this. It's been quite fun to see some of the teams that have come through. Some of those players might align with ours. I guess we'll certainly see. Should we jump straight into it, boys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right then, so I think it's only fair that we go straight into netmanders. So obviously 1 netmander out of the 11 players that we are picking.
Yeah, so 2 lines, 4 imports, 1 player from every team.
Yeah, and 1 netmander amongst both lines, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be pretty obvious. To be fair, I think there's very few candidates you'd go for here. Mine is from the Leeds Knights. I think it's going to be fairly obvious. It is Sam Gospel. So for Leeds, for me, it is Sam Gospel.
Interesting.
I don't think there's much to say about this guy. He's top tier. Great guy off the ice. We've had the pleasure of obviously seeing him a few times. He's obviously let on to us, been at the games as well. And his stats speak for himself. I said in the interview when we spoke with him, he's never forced into a highlight reel save, and that's because of how good he is. He sees the game, he reacts well, and just covers his goal really well, and really guards Leeds to success, as he has done for 3-4 years plus now. So yeah, Sam Gospel for me.
Well, I've gone for no other than Alexander Haskinen.
Okay.
So I've used one of my import slots for my netmander. And again, reasons for me pretty obvious. I think he's put the league on notice since he's come into come into it. I realise he's come in quite late in the season, but also the impact he's had's been pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
He's changed our team quite, completely. So for that reason, I've just found it really difficult to keep him out of it, to be honest.
That's fair. Yeah.
I have matched one of you. I've gone for Gozzy as well.
Yeah, I would admit, like, if it was going to be Gozzy for my second choice.
To be honest, I think mostly because he's played more games than Heskey, but Heskey has played 20 games or so now, to be fair to him. His impact has been fantastic, but yeah, for me it was Gozzy. Same reasons as you as. I think arguably he's had probably one of his busiest seasons as well this season, because he hasn't had that second netminder to give him those 10-15 games that he needs to sort of rest and recoup and things like that. So, and Leeds arguably have, as the league's getting better every season, he's facing more shots and he's still producing those fantastic numbers that he's so capable of, and it's really, really admirable to see Sam doing that on a yearly basis, and as much as he is a Leeds and Lights fan, long may it continue, because he's the epitome of what a British netminder should be.
Yeah. So like I said, I expected this, to be honest with you. I was umming and ahhing whether both of you would have gone for Heskey, to be honest with you. Like you say, I think either of the two you'd have taken them, wouldn't you, really? It's just whether you want to use the import slot, which obviously you have, Brad, so that'll be interesting to see how yours play out going forward. So next we'll move on to one of our defencemen. I'll start us off. My first defenceman is from the Wildcats. Any guesses who it might be?
It might be the same as mine.
Ryan Wells.
No. It is a Brit.
Mine's a Brit too.
It was a guy, at the beginning of the season, I said I didn't think he was all that special from what I saw for him. And it is Ben O'Connor.
Me too.
Been really impressed with him. Really impressed the longer the season's gone on, and I think it only epitomises how important he is since, obviously he got hurt and injured, and it did show for Swindon.
He has been for me, he's been the reason why Swindon have now got over the line, personally.
Yeah.
If you look at the last season compared to this season, there's been slight changes, but those slight changes have been massive instigators as to why they've won the league. Not to sound disrespectful, but I think if Ben O'Connor would have stayed healthy and things like that, I think Swindon would have probably wrapped the league up a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And I think right now they'd be in a really, really comfortable position, because I don't know what it was about him, but he just brings this leader presence, experience factor. He's really, really good, and the fact that they've got him signed on again is amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So I've gone for Ryan Wells from the Swindon Wildcats. So another import spot used for me. But yeah, again, I feel like it's really obvious as to why he's been solid for them, and I think the fact that they tried to get him, signed up again so early on's just testament to what he is and how important he is to that team. So that's really my sole reason for going for him.
I think it's really interesting how the three of us for Swindon have all gone for defencemen.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I was. That's when I mentioned to you earlier. One of the things I was struggling with was who to pick out of that roster, really, because you could have gone for lots of players. So way in that.
There are a few for that team, like Wells, obviously. Rennie Mars had a really good season, hasn't he? Logan Van der Merak has had a really good season. Villegas has been a real good addition. People like Owen Griffiths and people like that have been like, those subtle signings that people don't look at really, but just that extra experience and stuff like that has been really, really good. Like, so.
Aaron now.
But for Aaron, you know what, you say that though, but he's put up some real good points, and in his last season for him to win the leagues is ace, isn't it? So fair play to him. There's so many candidates from there, but now with Ben O'Connor. Do you want me to start this one? So I appreciate you've started. Should we go like this, mate?
Yeah, so if you want to go with another defence.
So on my first line, my second defenceman is a Romford Raider, and it's my first import, and it is Jarrett Baker.
I thought you was going to go for Jarrett, to be fair. I know you're a big fan of his work.
I'm a massive fan of Jarrett. For me, probably, this might be a bold statement, but probably the best defenceman in the league for me.
Hello.
Points wise, on the power play, on the penalty kill. I know the Raiders fans rate him in terms of his defensive work as well. Just for me, an outstanding defenseman, and he's been somebody that I think has really, really improved the Raiders this season, especially in stages where they've struggled defensively. They've needed that player to sort of lift them up. Hull Seahawks obviously done that in the net as well, but I think for me, the amount of when you've got a defenseman who's scoring hat-tricks and also helping shut down teams, like he's just been fantastic, and top scoring defenseman in the league at the end of the season. No coincidence for me. So
yeah,
he was one of my comfortable ones as well. Like straight away, I was like, Baker.
Like that. Brothers?
Yeah, so mine's taking up Telford's slot, and it's Rhodes Mitchell-King.
Great shout.
Yeah.
Great shout.
So yeah, I've just been really impressed with what he's done for them this season, to be honest. And every time he's come to Hull, I've also seen he seems to be, on there all the time, involved in everything, going forward as well. He's putting up points. So
he's another one. It's a shame that he got injured at the end of the season. He's a massive player for Telford.
But when I was looking at the roster, I was thinking about Ben O'Connor, people who have been injured
been
and stuff. I'm like, yeah,
makes sense.
Makes sense. But you,
mine is also a Telford player, and it is Mitchell King as well. I think, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think he's maybe gone under the radar a little bit because of how good Caleb McPhee's been. And this is back-to-back years for me that I put Mitchell King in my team of the season.
Actually,
I picked him last year, and I was surprised when I had a look at Caleb McPhee as the benchmark for Telford. And Mitchell King, actually,
so close.
It was exactly the same. They had the same amount of points as each other, and I thought, do you know what?
For a Brit.
Yeah. For as much as, especially early on, we was like, oh, McPhee this. And that's all we were saying. But when you look, Mitchell King's class. He's still a young guy as well. There's still a lot he can achieve in the game.
1000%. Really nice kid as well. Everything good about Rhodes Mitchell-King. He's definitely one to keep an eye on, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that.
So up to this point then, boys, I haven't announced any of my imports, and you both announced one.
I've announced two.
Yeah,
two, sorry.
Two.
Yeah. Bradders, we'll start with you then, mate. So your first forward.
Yeah, so my first forward is Luke Ferrara from the Peterborough Phantoms. So, again, what do you need to say about Luke?
Yeah.
What's he done this season?
For me, it was a case of, I don't want to discredit Cam Huff and Yanni and stuff, but when I'm looking at the team, I'm like, okay, they're given Luke's position in their team. Do I want to use an import from Peterborough, or can I use the Brit? And so that was my rationale for going for Luke Ferrara, and obviously, he's top point scorer and he's been doing bits, hasn't he? So
I think, if you picked any of the Peterborough boys, I don't think you need to say much of anything, do you? No. All three of them achieved massively this season. They've all been instrumental to their team's success. And they've all, pretty much all broken some sort of record this year, and that speaks volumes.
Let's be honest, if you was to pick an existing line for a team of the season, they'd all three.
Yeah. If you've got more than one player from each team, that's the way obviously we've done it.
Yeah.
It's hard not to have all three in, isn't it?
Absolutely. Rossy?
I'll go the same then, obviously. So he wasn't the way I'm a bit OCD, so I'm not going to go the lines the way that I've done my lines, but he was in the middle of my first line, Luke Ferrara. So I'll go Luke Ferrara too. 120 points in the season, and the rest, the leadership qualities he brings, the experience he brings. He's a fantastic player. Looks like an ultimate professional in terms of his interviews. Just that exact player that you want for your team. And when you've got that magic between him, Yanni, and Cam Huff, it's something that is it's priceless, isn't it? So a really, really great player for me, Luke, and deserves everything he got this season.
I wasn't going to go for my Phantom as of yet, but because you two have, I will also follow suit in the Phantom. But I have gone for Yanni.
Nice.
Again, you could have any of them. I've sort of thought about if my team was playing, what would I want? And I thought an assist guy in there is what I'd want in my team.
Did he get many assists this season?
No, I don't think so, mate. Only the odd 96 or something like that. But that is the only reason I've gone for Yanni. Not really just that. That sort of makes him sound real bad, doesn't it, really? Yeah. He's obviously a very good player. Yeah. Obviously, his age comes up, as it always has done for most of the season. 43 years old and putting up 96 assists.
Yeah.
And he has scored as well in those times. So, Yeah, over 100 points for him as well.
Player.
Yeah, he is fantastic.
It'd be great to see him back, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's certain players that you do want to see in the league because it brings entertainment value across the league. You want to see players like that. You know, it is the best for the league.
Cam Huff's probably watching this thinking, I scored 60 goals this year.
I
broke the record and I haven't made any of your teams.
I had an inkling that none of us was going to go to Cam. And that is wild. For
crazy.
Breaking the goal scoring record, and he hasn't.
I think from his perspective, it's only because Luke, with the rules, Luke's a Brit. And he's also put up loads of points.
120 points.
It's really hard to say, well, if I'm going to use a slot from the roster, why am I going to use an import when clearly someone...
Just so you know, Cam, we do think you played alright. So,
just a bit better next season,
right,
and you'll probably
a couple more goals next year, and you'll be maybe in with a chance.
We can wind him up, it's alright, he's not in our group.
That's it.
But yeah, that's basically it. I think Yanni's been class. And I did just think about if my team was actually playing, what would I want? And I would want an assist guy in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I've gone for. So we'll stay on forwards then, and I'll go for mine. And I have gone for a steel dog. And I think this one might be pretty apparent. And it is Bear Genjinov. This guy, I won't take away any credit because you was the person who was like beginning of the season. He's going to be some player, and you were spot on the money there, mate, so fair play to you. This guy, unfortunately, we haven't seen the best of him whenever he's played in Hull.
Thankfully, not unfortunately, thankfully.
Well, it's much like we said about the Peterborough boys. You want to see,
of course,
really nice hockey and individuals doing what they do best, and we just haven't quite seen Bear at his glorious best when we've seen him play, but he has been some player this season. Surely Sheffield are going to snap him back up. You'd hope, unless he's got some sort of lucrative offer in Europe.
Right,
but other than that, you'd expect him to be staying in this league and ripping it up again next season. And he has been some player. I would be more than happy to carry him all the way from Sheffield to Hull if he wants. I'll go pick him up.
Piggyback. Piggyback.
Because that's the sort of player I would love to see.
100%.
I've got a funny feeling, Rossy, you're probably going to join me with Bear in your team, so I'll come to you, mate.
Come to me, yes, you would be right. So Bear Genjinov was the first player on my first line. Absolutely fantastic player. His goals, his assists, his performances have just turned Sheffield around. We spoke about Sheffield at the start of the season and where they were last year. In terms of their actual standings, pretty similar, but they are a completely different team now.
Yeah.
A lot stronger, a lot more fierce, a lot better defensively, which maybe isn't Bear's, strong suit, or maybe not strong suit, but that's not what he's there for. But especially going forward, he's been at front and centre. And to say that we had the likes of Walker Sommer last season who has probably put up similar points, but has seemed quite quiet. Maybe that just speaks to the testament of Bear Genjinov, doesn't it? And how well he's played. And really nice guy, great guy, always supporting the pod, which didn't come into it, to be honest. It was purely based off performances.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Genjinov for me.
Well, I've used my Solway slot here, and I've gone for Dylan Stewart.
Okay. Nice, Stewart.
Nice. Again, Dylan's a friend of the pod. Don't come into it, but he is. And we've obviously done our Solway away day, and I just feel like he's been really important to the Solway team, and almost again another player that's gone under the radar a little bit, but he's been very, very solid.
He's been the one constant, hasn't he?
When you look at Solway's results, he seems to have been there all the time. Every time they've had a positive result, it seems to have come from Dylan Stewart. So I felt it was quite hard to keep him out of it.
Really like that. Yeah, that's top tier. And we'll go for our third forward. That completes our first line. So Rossy, or something?
Is that me? Yeah, I've gone for my third import here, and might not be a surprise from the Bristol Pitbulls. It is the man, the myth, the legend himself. It is Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
He
makes an appearance.
Somebody who has, surpassed that 100-point mark again, and I'll give you the credit right back to you for your early point for Bear Genjinov. You said that it's not easy to get 100 points in a Swindon team, but the goals and the assists are a lot more accessible in a Swindon team. But to then go to the team that finished 10th in the league and do it, or 11th, I can't remember which one it was that they finished in, but Bricknell's done that again. He's just proved individually what a class player he is. I think he's one that might miss people's team of the seasons. Obviously, when we've had them submitted, I don't think he's featured a lot. But for me, he's just constantly been there, and despite his team not playing as well as he is, maybe, for my team of the season, it's not about teams and where they finish. It's about individual performances and individual performers. And for me, you can't look past Jake Bricknell for that reason.
Yeah, Schumann is coming to me.
Yes, mate.
So my final forward for the first line, I've also used my Bristol slot, but I've gone for Bailey Harewood.
Nice.
Yeah. I was just purely stats, to be honest with you. Looking at that, I didn't want to put all of my imports in my first line.
No.
So yeah, just looking across at their roster, I thought, stats wise, and I think it's fair to say, again, we've seen him first time, and he seems to be real good value for money in that team.
So well.
And with the likes of Bricknell as well, like they seem to
stand out,
complement each other quite well as well.
Stand out and complement. That's exactly it. So.
There's no like, I always say this, I can't say it. There's no surprise that he's on a two-way in the Elite League. Bailey Harewood, fantastic player.
Very good. As good as he is, I would like to see him maybe just stay with the two-way for another year.
Oh, for sure.
I think he can still.
He's only benefit. Look at how well far he's come on skating with this. Is it Coventry that he's with every week? I think he's with Coventry. Skating with us every day, every week. It's showing in there.
Yeah, and still keeping a lot of minutes for obviously the Pitbulls is massive for him as well.
Definitely.
So it'd be good if he keeps that tie there and keeps doing the two. Obviously, life gets in the way and everything else, but if he can keep both deals going there,
nice.
Be good for him and good for us
good
to
for
keep
every
seeing.
party, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So in the same vein then, boys, I'll stay with the Pitbulls as well, because I've gone for a Pitbull forward and I have joined you.
I thought he was going to say JD then, like someone different.
I have gone for Jake the Snake. Being a forward playing football, seeing the likes of Jake, that is my sort of player.
Just like a pure instinct.
Just pure instinct, goal scorer, aggressive, fast, gets about, a bit of skill in there, but a bit of no nonsense as well. And will just fire. He doesn't necessarily go for the flair, it's just top tier finishing. I can't say much more than that really. He's top class.
When you I was going to say, like, when you look at where Bristol have finished and where Bricknell's finished in stats wise, it's.
I said it last week, and I will stay by it. He will end up at somewhere like Leeds. If it comes after Coventry and Leeds jump straight on their gun and go, we've signed Jake Bricknell, I'll just called it.
Knew it, fair.
And he could go to any team.
He could go
to any team in that
Jake
league.
Bricknell's agent calls you, you're arranging something, you're making space in a room, you're getting something sorted so you're
having the conversation.
I think 1,000%. No disrespect towards Pitbulls, but if somebody like an MK or a Leeds, even a Telford, if they could get him in, they suddenly think we might be able to do something this season. We might be able to win. He's that good.
And with that rumour of the extra import coming on, boys, wowza.
So we'll go back to defencemen. Everybody loves a forward, so we'll leave those till last. I'll go first, and I've gone for a lightning defenceman, and it is Malik Martelli. So very good. Good and bad again, but it sort of helped Seahawks that he did get hurt. I know that sounds bad, but I feared when he was
it'd have been a much harder game if
he'd have stayed on the ice. Seahawks would have had a real problem on a Saturday, and again we wish him the best because he did look in some discomfort with his arm, but a very good defenseman. Again, I think he probably featured in our team of the years last year for how good he is. Looked really good at the playoffs as well. And I think we said we'd love to have had him at Seahawks for how good he is.
Everybody would. I'll jump in with you as well because he's also on our second line.
Well, actually, he's also on mine.
Can't we? But Malik, in a team of Lightning prior to Lewis Christie taking over, and this is no disrespect to Tim Wallace, there was a lot that people had to bash about MK. Malik Martelli was never one of those players. He's been a shining light in a team that's had an absolute roller coaster of a season, and for his season to end the way it has this weekend, if it has, is such a shame because he is such an important player to MK. He's a fantastic player. his skating ability is one of the best in the league as a defenceman. And he can make up so much pace, and he also has so many points as well.
He's still got such a future ahead of him as well.
He's 21. It's unbelievable when you think about it. Like how many seasons he's been at MK now. Like you think of him as like a 25, 26 year old. Yeah. He's 21. Yeah. Which is crazy. Like if elite league teams aren't knocking on the door for him, I don't know what he needs to do.
No,
he's an unbelievable player.
He's so good. Well, I guess that sort of wraps up one slot straight away. So, our last defenseman of our teams, then I'll come to you, Rossy, first. And
so I've gone for a Bison this time, and I've gone. What are you laughing at?
He's also
gone.
Funny enough, because so have I.
And I've gone for Tom Ralph. Tom Ralph? No. Okay, that's fine. So I have gone for Tom Ralph. I think the Bison have had to be a really strong defensive team this year, and that's probably why we've all gone for Bison players. A big part of that was Ralph coming from Raiders and going to Bison. It's a shame really that he's retired at the end of the season, because I think their whole thing this season was locking it down, making it tough, and Ralph was at the helm of that really, straight into the captaincy sort of group. No coincidence there, just solid every night, and I know a lot of Bison fans are really upset to see him go, probably due to personal circumstances or whatever, so we wish him the best in his retirement. But yeah, for me, whenever I've seen him play, I've always been quite impressed. I thought this one was probably the most tricky one, because I was to and fro in between him and Moggy, personally, but I just went for Ralph, and I hope Moggy's not too offended by that one, because he's played really well too.
Bradley?
Well, I've gone for Titan Cathcart.
I did think Ty was going to come in, but I thought you was going to go for Ty.
I thought when you said Basingstoke, I thought
Ty Cathcart. I can see that actually. Young player, a lot of potential. He's had to play up a lot of the season as well. I can see that.
Yeah, I think this season's done him the world of good. To be honest with you, looking. Moggy, you've already mentioned him. Tom Ralph, they've got some solid D-man, but I just think for Ty to be like in the realms of them and the running of them, it's
a great shout that, I hadn't seen his name pop up at all between like fans and stuff like that, but that's a really good shout. And again, someone who's come from South One. I know he played for the Bees a little bit last year and sort of got like fans player of the year or something, like a young player or something like that. But it's a big step that to then right now you've got solidify yourself at national level, and I think he has, to be honest.
This is I sort of saw, I was at Andy from Solway, the Solway fan who put Spraggan in his team in defence, used his Hull slot for them, which I was quite surprised about. I thought actually there's something to like pulling someone in who's sort of come into the league and has settled in really well. They've had quite a lot of influence from other players and stuff, and sort of solidified their own position in the team. Like sometimes there's more credit to that, because it's a tough thing to do. But yeah, Ty's just been up there for me this season, and I think he's got again another one with a really bright future in this league. And I think next season you could see a completely different player as well.
Sure.
So
it's like some of these younger guys, like. It's a big thing to come into this league as it is, like the second tier in British ice hockey. But for the level of the league as it is at the minute, when you're playing against like GB forwards and defensemen, and more imports are coming in, as a young guy to be able to come in and stand out,
hold your own,
is massive credit. Massive.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, you mentioned Spraggan there, Ty. There's a few others. Fair play to all of them.
Absolutely. That's why Malik and Mitchell King are those players as well, aren't they? Like really good.
Those sort of players from 17, 18 to 21, those are the future of the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, those guys would like to obviously move on to Elite League without a shadow of doubt. Why wouldn't they? But if not, they're the future of our league, and we want to see them there. British hockey has got to keep going and going, and more talent's got to come through.
You can talk about it the same with forwards as well, like your Finn Bradens and people like that guy. Yeah, he's exactly the same. You are right, 100%.
So it'll come to me. I've also got a Bison player, as mentioned. I've cheated a little bit here. So I went for Moggy and Ralph, and I couldn't decide between either of them. And it was pretty much for the same reason you mentioned, Rossy, but it was the fact that they've both had the A's.
Yeah.
And a team that formed this year, it was a tough ask to sort of sustain yourselves, keep thereabouts, obviously not having their own ice to start
Push it
with.
right till the end of the season.
Get everyone bought in and stuff.
Yeah, I'll lean more towards Moggy because obviously you've gone for Ralph,
Fair.
so I'll redeem you a little bit and I'll
Thanks,
go for
mate.
Moggy here. I think it was a tough one with Bison, but not in a bad way. I think you could have had a fair few of the players for the reasons of the way that they've held themselves this season has been fantastic.
Yeah.
They have competed. They haven't just made up the numbers and sort of like just been kicked to the curb and that's where they finished. They have competed and
100%.
given and have had some really good results. Swindon, Leeds,
Peterborough, yeah.
they've had some really good results. So
Sure.
I'm going to go for Moggy. His leadership is fantastic, and I think the Bison would have him back in a heartbeat.
He's actually re-signed.
Yeah, has re-signed,
Not too long ago, it got announced. Yeah, so a great bit of business for me.
Yeah,
Really good.
great player.
They'll be happy with that, won't they?
Yeah.
So we'll go back onto our forward lines. Bradler, we'll start with you, mate.
Okay,
So just before you say anything, what teams have you got left?
I've got Sheffield, Leeds, and Romford.
Okay, Rossy, what have you got left?
Hull, Solway, Telford.
I've got Solway, Hull, and Raiders. Sorry, Bradler. We'll come back to you, mate. Go on.
Berg Enginov. So this is my
Fair enough.
my final import slot for Sheffield is Berg Enginov. Again, I don't need to repeat the reasons. You guys have already done that, but I put him on my second line. You guys put him on your first line. And
I didn't go for a first and second line, if I'm completely honest. I think any of my players could just gel over any line, to be fair.
yeah, well, I've actually tried to look at it and thought who would have put on a first line, who would have put on a second
I
line.
have to be fair.
But yeah, Genjanov on the second line for me is my first forward.
My first line was just my instant. There was had to be's in my head. And then I looked at the rest of the players and I thought, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for my Seahawk, because I've got a feeling me and you are going for the same one, and I want to instigate to see if you followed me. And it is the Sheriff, Bobby Chamber.
Wow.
You would be right.
Yeah.
I've gone Bobby Chamberlain as well.
He was going to be a shout for me,
It's hard to look past him. Obviously, 3-4 years, of him being that guy that gets the penalty minutes, be a bit of a goon, the fighter. He's still got a bit of that about him, but I think he's changed his game so much and has become the leader we've needed. There's been a lot of games early on in the season where we struggled, and he scored some vitally important goals. And there's been a lot of injuries, and we know he has been playing hair.
Rough, yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't look past him. And I think he is the driving force behind the team.
For me as well, with Chamber, people will look at Chamber's stats this season and think, well, he hasn't performed as well as last season. But he hasn't had the same amount of minutes last season. Last season we relied on Chamberlain, Sobchak and Specs so much. But actually now, because of the depth that we have, Chamberlain hasn't had to be on the ice that much. So if you look at his stats, if that's the one thing for me, I'd love for there to be a stat on the players, on these
conversion ratios and stuff like that.
Just like time on ice. I'd love to see time on ice, because if you actually looked at how much Bobby's actually on the ice in comparison to how much he scored, he'd be right up there for me. Because you might have a player who plays on the third line and has 20 points in the season, which looks crap, but actually he's only getting 10 minutes a night, and you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Where Bobby sort of strikes that as me, where he does every role like that. He's not scared to get involved with people. He still wants to make sure he's the person there who's instigating everything, controlling games and things like that, but he's also putting up points, and there's not a lot more that you can ask from Bobby Chamberlain as to what he does every night.
Yeah.
I've only picked him because I want him to finally come on and give us our interview. No, I'm joking. I can't say any more than what you said there, Rossy. It's perfect. I'm sure he'll be made up to be part of our team of the season, to be fair. I'm sure he'll like that one, and we'll probably hopefully get a message from him as well. And he keeps an eye on what we're doing. But yeah, I thought you had gone the same as me, to be fair, with the Seahawks player, so that's a good one, that. So our second to last one, I'm going to go for my Shark.
Oh, okay.
And you've already called him, and it is Stewie. Big fan of his work. Again, selfless, hard-working, gritty, scores very good goals. Again, gone under the radar. Yancey came in, and a lot of people making fuss about him. Rightly so, he's a very good forward as well. But again, from minute one, Stewie's been there, done it, put in the hard yards for the team. I think he does get credit, but maybe not as much as he should. and he is a great guy and obviously a friend of the pod as well, which does help.
This one broke my heart because I only had one import left, and it was between Solway and it was between Telford, and sadly my Solway did not go to Stewie.
Ooh.
And I was really, you boys know how much I sing and dance about Stewie. He's one of my favourite players in the league, 110%. But there was somebody else from Solway that was in my mind, and I just couldn't shake him based off his performances this season and his sort of story. And it was Jordan Buesa for me.
Big game,
and that's exactly the point. Isn't it? He's gone in. He's come from Leeds' third line, where he was ever present and solid, a really good player. And I'm sure a lot of Leeds fans was disappointed to see him go. So, take his own chance and sort of say, I'm going to be that first line player and I'm going to go to Solway and I'm going to prove to everybody what I can do. And I think he has done that, to be honest with you. If I'd have had 5 imports, I'm not going to lie, Stewie'd have been right in there, so I do apologise.
Next season.
But no, I want to reiterate what you guys said about Stewie, because he has been absolutely fantastic. He's been that, like we said, that one ever present import for them, who's been really, really good. But I think Buesa also deserves his plaudits, and I had a feeling that you guys were both going to go for Stewie. So I thought it was fitting that Jordan Buesa comes in, because I think, again, he's been that guy. I could see him being a future A. I know they've got Stenton, I think it is who's the captain at the moment, who's a Dumfries guy, and love that story and how he leads the team. But Jordan Buesa for me is one of those, so you need to put a letter on his jersey.
He's always got a bit of respect from me, because he's done much like a bit of a Bricknell story. He's gone from the top and now he's gone down the league to see where he can support and get more time on the ice and give his quality to, and he's done that with Solway. He hasn't obviously got the points like Bricknell has, but he's certainly got a lot of respect from people in the camp.
I'm sure he's in the 50s or the 60s for his points as well. In a team that's finished 9th in the league, it's no knock on him at all. No. I'm just hoping that it continues the next season, because again, from I think it was from Christmas time, their form meant there was like 4th or 5th in the league. Like, genuinely, I think from the start they've got a pre-season plan in place. I think Solway will be one to watch next season, if I'm honest. I think they'll definitely finish within playoffs, bottom end of playoffs maybe, but yeah, fair play.
Bradley?
I'm so sorry, Stuart.
Unfollow.
So my next one is Kieran Brown from Leeds Knights.
Oh, like wrapping it up, yeah? Is that last forward?
Yeah, we've got one more.
After this.
That's his second to last.
Sorry, we went so late, didn't we? Sorry, but
so Kieran Brown for me. Again, it's just hard to look past him as a captain, and he is. I know he's had his injuries and stuff this season, and he's maybe not been the player he was last season. But with Kieran Brown, I just think he brings such a change to Leeds Knights when he is in the team, and he can be like the thing they need to be able to move
just
on.
Not this weekend.
Just not this weekend, please. But I just think it was more the fact he was hard to look past.
You are right, Brad, because if you look at how many points Brownie's put up this season, you'd be very surprised, because you'd think that he'd be out for longer, but he's still put up a mammoth amount of points. Yeah, he's really good, and he's also got that presence about him, hasn't he? Like, if he's playing, it's a home game, you can almost guarantee there's going to be a goal or 2 goals involving or scored by him. So he's a good player. I did have 2 thoughts about Brownie, but Gozzy was just straight in there for me with Leeds player.
We'll stay with you, Bradley. If you want to give us your final player.
My final one is it's Romford. Final slot is TJ Anderson.
Solid shout, and I think yours is a Romford also, isn't it?
It's the same guy.
Is it?
It is the same guy. I couldn't look past him, and I'm sure his old man will be loving this now.
Big leg.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evening, Mr. Anderson.
But yeah, I'll let you take it, because obviously you picked him first, but I can't look past him.
Yeah, again, I think he's just been really good in that Romford team. Obviously, they lost Sean Miller, didn't they? Towards sort of middle of the season, which was really unfortunate for him. And I think TJ Anderson at that point was already doing very well, but I feel like it put him in the spotlight. I feel like he needed to take some of the pressure.
He saw an opportunity to stand up and go for it.
Exactly that, and he's done it really well. He's done it really well, and obviously he's got a lot of quite a good future ahead of him as well. He's another one of them players.
Look past TJ Anderson if you dare. That's all I'm going to say. Brilliant player. He's one of those again. I was talking earlier about the 21-year-olds and stuff. TJ's exactly that.
He fits the bill.
I was wondering actually if either of you would have gone for him this year.
I won't lie. Jarrett just stuck out to me. I'm a massive advocate for him. I have been all year. He's been in our team this season about 8 times. If it hadn't been Jarrett Baker, it would have 110% been TJ Anderson, and that's no disrespect to any other Raiders player.
I would have been on a similar vein.
Crazy good player.
Yeah, very good. I suppose that leaves just you then, Rossy, to finish up.
I'm finishing with my import. So again, I didn't go for Stewie, and in 10, one that people might raise their eyebrows at a little bit, but it's Eric Henderson from Telford. 100 points for the season, Eric Henderson, 80 odd assists. I think he's very much been like Telford's Yanni. And I think it would have been easy for me to go for David Thompson, because he's had another really good season where I think he got about 95 points or something like that. But there was just something for me where every week we review these games and every week I look at the teams, and Eric Henderson was just always there. And I went through his game log, and this season there's only been 3 games out of he played every game as well. He played 54 games out of 54.
That's good,
which for a lot of the players in Telford didn't. Played every game. There was 3 games where he didn't get at least 1 point. That was it.
That is it.
You know, so every game he's contributed. Every game he's been present. He's scored goals. He's got an absolute boatload of assists. So I just think for me, it's sometimes it's not the glaring obvious one. It's what when you peel back the onion sort of thing. It's one of those, isn't it? But they could have gone for Tomo, obviously. They've also got Keelan McPhee, who's been fantastic as well. But yeah, I just thought Eric Henderson for me, he was one there. Yeah. When I looked at the stats and things like that, and I saw him, and I thought,
yeah, I read that.
It's a great show.
Yeah. In typical style, boys, I ain't going to leave it there. I have got an addition to this. You know, I like doing these sorts of things.
Just throwing on us midway through.
I love to catch you roaring in the moment. Coach of the year.
Ooh, okay.
I like the Acklums ones.
What a divvy! What an absolute drip! That's going to get us cancelled. Oh, he's on there.
You're on there.
It's just laughing at my own joke, sorry.
Rossy, I have got one in mind. And I think there's only 2 guys you can look at here. And I'm going to go for the backup guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go for Slava.
Oh, Slava. Well, maybe it was obvious, to be honest.
It was right. It was either going to be Aaron Nell or Slava for me.
Yeah.
And I've gone for Slava because
what he's done with that song.
There was a project in place for Swindon, and I think it was always on that trajectory. Sheffield was there, and they had the signings, and it was like, okay, what they're going to do. And then Slava came in, and it was sort of like, oh. And he has taken them there, and you can see now they're following that path of Swindon, and I think if they can keep that sort of core team and add a few more, there's no reason that Sheffield team can't push for a title.
100%. I was going to go Slava too.
I'm intrigued because I thought you two was just going to go Nell.
No.
And that's why I threw the question in, just to see where you had gone.
With the cup and seeing the difference, I was always going to say
that's the thing. I think Slava had the biggest job on because of the expectation around the Sheffield organisation, if I'm honest. He has come in and he's changed them into a team that's so solid defensively, but can also rip you apart with goals. And genuinely, I think with a bit of tinkering, a few more. A few more. I would say not a few more games under the belt, but a bit more time under the belt. There could be one of those teams that goes for it next year. Genuinely, like they ran it pretty close this year, didn't they? But sort of fell away a little bit. But yeah, for me, I'd say when Slava moved to Sheffield. Do you remember when we did our signing of the summer? And I can't remember. I think one or two of us said Slava, didn't we? And I was like, oh. Because we're going, Bricknell for Bristol, and they're going to rip it up this year. But when we said Slava, that was exactly the reason why. And if you're the Sheffield organisation, you're looking at him like performance review of the season. Well, he's delivered silverware already. Made it through to the playoffs, and from here, everything's a bonus, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If they go out in the semi-final, that's Coventry. They've took a step forward, haven't they?
I think. For me, an addition to that is obviously the bouncing between Steelers and Steel Dogs, and you're going to have some players who maybe feel, oh, well, I play for Steelers, what are these lads doing? And I think you need somebody who can maybe just pull somebody aside and just go, you know what, yeah, you do play for Steelers, But when you're here, you're just a steel dog. Knock it on the head.
I
think he's got that about him to do that. That's
something else to think of as well, though. The Peterborough Phantoms or the Hull Seahawks or the Swindon Wildcats ever have someone going, right, we're going to take the Auckland Awesome and Watson out of your team tonight, so off you go do what you need to do. No, they don't. They don't ever have Logan Van der Merake picked out. They don't ever have Bobby Chamberlain. I'm going to go play for Manchester Storm now. But Slava's had to deal with that as well. You know, on those road games, and when you have to tough it out and things like that. Like they went for a netminder crisis, didn't they? Where they've had like 4 netminders injured. Like they've not had it easy. They've had players in and out of the team, and yeah, I think they've done really well. I think the signings that they've made this year have been really good. Like the Brit signings, like Liam Steele could have been a shout in for the team of the season. Carl Watson for a Brit could have been a shout. Like really, really good signings. I'm almost excited to see what they do in terms of their re-signings for next year. They're one I'll be keeping an eye on for sure.
Yeah, well, I will leave it there then, boys. Won't throw any more surprise in there, but I just really wanted to ask. Just to see what you two thought about that, but I am glad that you've sort of gone along with me on that one. I think it was worth the shout out to give credit, and there's still massive credit to Aaron L and what he's achieved there. Obviously, he's hanging up his skates as a player, so still massive credit to him. But I just couldn't look past what Slava's done there.
For sure.
That wraps up our team of the season. We hope you've enjoyed it. Again, there's still time for you to send yours in. We do look at these, like I say. Rossy has been posting them on our socials for everybody to see, so yeah, please keep sending them in so we can have a look. So now we're going to have a look at the upcoming fixtures for this weekend, and it'll be match day 2 or weekend 2 of the playoffs, and it starts on the Friday once again, and it is Sheffield going for a Friday fixture, and they are at home to the Swindon Wildcats. Quickly then, boys, who do you think's taking this one?
I think it's a bit of a different scenario, this, because it is Good Friday. So remember, like, most people will be off anyway, so it's like obviously a more extended weekend. So.
What? Shots fired.
Yeah, but I do think it could come into it. However, I am gonna say Sheffield.
I am as well. Yeah, home ice defend.
You know what I could see in this? I could see like a Swindon doing it in overtime or something.
Or I still don't think that's bad though.
One of the sides going, if
I
Sheffield
think both teams pick up points.
If both, or even Sheffield take it in overtime, you know, like if you take 3 points or something from this, that you need, like that's what we said in the last one. This will be a real interesting one because it's both teams that are on 4 points, right?
Yeah, I'd say that.
We move on to Saturday, 4th of April. Romford Raiders hosting the Peterborough Phantoms. Who do you reckon?
Peterborough. They've got to go. They've got to win.
This has got to be started.
This is good. This has got to be a wake up call for them, I think, and this game. And I think their first line are going to be. They're going to know what's
roughing at the mouth.
Well, they're going to know what pressure's on their shoulders, and I think that all of those players can actually, take that pressure and go and do something with it. So, yeah, for me, Peterborough.
Okay, the next fixture. Leeds Knights versus Hull Seahawks.
Ooh.
Which way, lads?
Oh God, I don't even want to say this.
I'm scared of this one.
Seahawks in it, obviously, you muppet. Have it.
I almost.
That's the real baby.
I don't really believe in jinxes, but just in case, I might stay quiet.
He's getting giddy again now. We're talking about the game and he's getting giddy now.
I know it does. It makes me feel like that. Like I absolutely love it, but I also love to hate the fact that it is coming because that's all I'm going to think about this week. Genuinely,
it literally is. You'll be messaging me every day, be like, what do you reckon's going to happen? We spoke about this yesterday.
What I want you to try and put me at ease, like you think it's going to work.
We know where you work this week. We're coming storming from your office.
See your morning.
Oh, yeah. Alright, Seahawks for me. Seahawks.
Nope. No comment. I don't know. I could see. With Cameron Brown coming back, I could see Leeds doing it over time.
Do you know what you two are disgusting?
Head and heart. Like my heart's telling me Seahawks, but my head's telling me Leeds. Just look at the start they had. Like we're discrediting Leeds, but they have started really well.
But the other way to look at it is, have we gone against a really tough start?
That's true. That is true. And we don't know what's going to happen with Leeds because there was a couple of fans that messaged us saying that Gozzi went down injured, and we don't know what the injury is or the ins and outs of it. But if they have backup netminder, and I know he had a good game the other week,
Could
if
be a
that's the
factor.
case, I think Seahawks jump on him, and I think it could be a Seahawks win.
I just think, as we said, as bad as the Milton Keynes game was, I think lessons learned and learned early.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen again.
it's just
I
hard
think we've
place
got to
to
be
go.
ruthless now.
It's just hard to go to the castle.
But we have won there.
We have
Yeah.
won. Yeah, true.
I think as
Probably
long as the
more so
game,
than any
the
other
game
team.
plan, the mentality is right, we can get it done.
Yeah.
Swindon Wildcats hosting the Sheffield Steel Dogs.
I think this is pretty much the same as the first, isn't it? Like, I think I could see both teams taking home ice here, but I could see a couple of overtimes if I'm honest with you.
Be interesting if it is.
Yeah.
I think it will do. But
think
those extra points could be massive.
It'd be a good little takeaway if both of those sides came away from 3 points. The other two teams could basically kiss the hopes of Coventry goodbye, couldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be potentially a clean sweep for Swindon then.
Yeah.
And the final fixture on the Saturday is Milton Keynes Lightning hosting the Telford Tigers, and it is a case of which MK is going to be at home here. If it's the same as what's just played, Hull Seahawks at home, I fear for Telford here.
I do too.
I do, to be honest. We, similar to what you just said, we've seen the product of MK at home, and if they do something similar to what they did to us, playing a similar way, I think that might just be rabid.
Brad Day's going to have the game of his career
God,
in this
I
game.
think so.
I'm leaning MK, unfortunately.
I fell off the chair leaning towards him that way. Like I can't see any other way. If I'm being, I know that sounds disrespectful, but the way the Tories are, well, I don't want to say Tories apart, but the way they played against us on Sunday.
Yeah, agreed.
We move on to Sunday, so these are the final games of week 2, and it is Hull Seahawks at home to the Leeds Knights. I'm going Seahawks.
It's hard to look past.
This one I'm confident with Seahawks, 100%. Yeah. Home ice, I think.
So only me backing us for a 4-point weekend.
Maybe so. Well,
I said
you backed him
Seahawks
as well, didn't you?
Good lad.
Just me being the traitor this weekend.
Yes. Peterborough Phantoms, Romford Raiders. I'm going to go Peterborough.
Right, they went as
I
well.
think they do or die. They've got to come out of this weekend
I think this
with
is
4.
where they come alive, like genuinely do.
Yeah.
Does that also put Romford in a sticky situation though? Like I say, 4 games done and they're on 1 or 2 points.
Unless I don't know. It's just I think the pressure is on Peterborough just to get the job done. And as bad as it sounds for Romford, like I can see there being a lot of goals in these 2 games. I think Peterborough are going to be like, no, we are here.
Yeah.
The position looks bad for us, and I can see them putting 7 and 8 in. I honestly can. I think it'll be like 7-8-4 or something. I think they'll absolutely try and wallop Romford.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Yeah.
I'm Peterborough as well.
Tasty.
Peterborough as well?
Yeah, Peterborough.
And the last game.
Sorry, I thought I already said it.
No, sorry, it's just me stuck in my little mindset there. Telford Tigers hosting the MK Lightning.
Genuinely depends on what MK stands on.
Honestly, I am going to go with my heart on this, and I'm going to go Telford.
Oh yeah.
Simply because for our sake, I don't know if we can afford for Milton Keynes to be on 6 points.
We are in control of that though.
I know we're not, but that's why I'm.
So I was choosing Telford to go
that's
again.
why I'm going with my heart. I said over my head is because I'm. That's the way I want it to pan out.
Fair enough.
I know exactly what you mean. After seeing that MK on that Sunday, it's just like they're gonna wallop everybody now. But you just don't know, do you? And I hope the fact that Telford are that sticky team in the group that they can do it again.
The thing is about Telford,
I really do.
Telford can stick up for themselves though, can't they?
Can.
They've got players who aren't scared of anybody. So if they start playing the games, does Fielder or Forgallis or even Tomo, he's not scared. Like all of them will just go after him.
They give Leeds a game, didn't they? They got to overtime and beat them.
They could have fireworks around it.
That'll be a naughty game. That.
I just hope that Telford do it in regulation, because if Milton Keynes was to get a point, I think I'm a bit worried.
Sticky for us.
I think if Telford can get it done in 60, I'd be quite happy with that.
I really want a 3-point weekend at minimum for us for Seahawks, because then that would put us back on level terms with Leeds.
Yeah.
Oh, scary.
Well, there it is, boys. Coming weekend's going to be a tasty one, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Playoff hockey, eh?
Yeah. Would enjoy it, really. But that does wrap us up for this week's episode. Thanks as always for watching. We hope you're enjoying playoff hockey as much as we are. Please do again send us your teams of the season if you haven't done already. We do enjoy seeing them. Send us your messages and again, some people have messaged us about Ross's forfeit for losing the Predictor League table in commentary, so please do keep messaging, because some of them have been fantastic, and we're plotting, aren't we, Brandon? We are putting something together. It's going to be probably Ross's worst weekend of his life, but
which I'm paying for. Brilliant.
Again, thanks for watching. Fellas, anything to add?
No, just stay tuned on this. Obviously, run up to the Final Four. It's going to be interesting. You know, we want to hear what you've got to say. We want to discuss some of the results. We want to hear what's going on in your teams that we're maybe missing. So please stay in touch. It's probably more important than it ever has been. And we appreciate the insight that you guys can give us.
I just want to add as well a big thanks for everyone's reception on all of what we're doing at the moment. I know it's coming to the end of the season now, boys, isn't it? So we're trying to stay busy and give you as much hockey content as possible. But yeah, just the amount of interactions that we've had with these episodes, our mainstay. This is our bread and butter, isn't it? But the interviews and our Slapshot versus series and things like that. Everything's been really, really positive. So we really appreciate it, don't we, lads? It's only pushing us on and pushing us up, so yeah, it's fantastic. So keep supporting us. We really appreciate it, don't we, lads? Obviously the hockey season's finishing soon, so let's make the most of it while we can.
Yeah, well said, fellas. Take care, and we'll see you all next week.
Slapshot Syndicate, pure ambition. 3 mics, 1 mission. Azza and Rossy, yeah, that's the crew. Dropping knowledge, what you gonna do?